Hey, what's going on? Miguel, the host of Life Full Circle Radio. It is Sunday, and here's the thing. Just for the next couple months, I'm just going to keep it real with you. Y'all just need to subscribe to the channel so y'all can know when we're going live, because we got a lot going on this end. Daughter's getting into AAU and all that good stuff. And so, anyway, today is what it is. We'll get some other audio coming. Let me see where it's coming from. Today we're going to be talking about masculinity, fashion, and all that good stuff, because we're at a place now where we're Jonathan Majors came out with this video. Where is that other audio coming from? I have to see if Kia's in at the other end. Are you hearing that? No. Okay, all right. So it's coming somewhere on my side. So anyway, so Jonathan Majors is big star. He's big Marvel star now, and he's doing this thing on that side. And so for Valentine's Day, he premiered on the cover of Ebony, and he had a little joint on. He in his Creed body and everything. He's been working out, and all the ladies are loving it, except for a few who are like, "Yo, he look real soft. He look like he's feminine." And other brothers are coming out, and now here come the Hotep. So we're gonna have a conversation around this here. There was also Rihanna, a picture, I don't know, what was it, Vogue or one of the fashion magazines, and A$AP Rocky was holding the baby. She was walking him, and all of a sudden he saw it. I'm like, man, y'all got to get over this nonsense. All right, let's get ready to go. Anyway, published. What's up?
Figure out what's going on with your audio, because I don't.
No, I know what it is. I had my phone right here next to me, and it was on the page. And I was like, I done closed everything out over here. Why am I still hearing it? It was the phone. I had it going on. What's up? 2 times for the birthday girl. 1 time for the birthday girl. Doom, 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 doom. Happy birthday to the super producer.
Thank you.
You getting real.
I am 38 years old and proud. Yes.
You kind of creeping up on the 40.
And everybody keeps saying the thing, "Oh, you're 38. Now it's time to plan what you're gonna do for your 40th." I'm like, no, thank you. None of that sounds fun. I don't want to plan my 40th. I just want to show up somewhere.
It's gonna be dope. I'm telling you, it's gonna be dope when you do your. You just have less pretentiousness. Is really about just the right people. You don't have to have 500 people with you. You got the right 30 people with you. At an event, at dinner or something, you just like, yo, this is love right here.
My brother wants to go on a trip. He done said to me 5 times, "Go on a trip for your 40th. We're gonna go on a trip for your 40th. We're gonna go on a trip, right?" I'm like, dude, it's not even your birthday. Can you back up off of me?
Trey started playing.
Go on a trip.
Trey started planning my 50th birthday almost 2 years in advance. I was just like, okay, baby, I'm not.
That was a good party.
It was a dope party. It was fun. We had a blast. But anyway, so and you're not the only birthday girl today. I got to give a shout out. Got to give a shout out to my baby Layla. She is now double digits. And yeah, man, she is now double digits. So shout out to my baby girl Layla. She had a birthday party at the crib yesterday. All right, so let's jump into the conversation a little bit. As we mentioned, we got a lot going on. We're gonna have you tell us a little bit about your guest, another rattler, man. You got to find some people that ain't go to FAMU every time it's time to have a guest.
No way. Rattlers are hardcore. I have known Anthony Wills. It's funny. Our parents, my mom and his mom, actually know each other, and we went to college together. He is an amazing, talented gospel singer. And singer in general. He was a part of, I guess they call it Sinfonia. It's the professional choir. Like, a lot of universities have like professional choirs,
right?
Like not ones where like students join. It's one like you have to audition for. He was part of that choir for an entire time in college. Great brother, gay man, and I thought he would be gay black man who was very proud, but not like uncomfortably trying to make anybody feel. Everybody knows what I mean by that. So he thought he would be a great person to come onto the show and have a great conversation. And plus, he wants to get into podcasting, and why not stretch your stuff on Life Full Circle Radio? We always want to give people the opportunity to show what they can do. Let's do this.
So we'll have him on here in about 15-20 minutes because our conversation today is going to be centered around masculinity, black men, and fashion. And I'm of a certain age, and I'm of a certain culture. Anybody listen to the show who knows me knows I am a proud member of the hip hop community. have been since I was a teenager. And so we know there's a lot of toxic masculinity that comes out of hip hop. And so I've always been very intentional about not falling into that realm. But I'm still a man, that was raised in the 70s and the 80s. And so there's things that I've had, just like the rest of us,
Yes,
having
the
to adjust
80s,
to.
the
Huh?
year of the booty short for men. I mean,
No.
oh,
70s.
don't you do it. Don't you go there. Don't you say no, it wasn't. Don't you say no, it wasn't.
You know what's so funny, that because you're talking about when I was still a little kid. You start talking about the Isley Brothers and blouses and all that. Pretty much, pretty much what I can remember was Prince, and Prince was unapologetic in that he would take your girl in a blouse in a minute and have everybody all confused,
A
like
blouse and heels.
a
Heels.
blouse and heels. And so we're gonna have some conversation about that because recently Jonathan Majors, he's on the cover of Ebony magazine. He's got this, I don't know if you call it a cape, I don't know if you whatever you want to call it. He's got this pink thing that's on him, and he's got no
It's a
shirt. And
jacket. It's a
is it a
furry.
jacket?
It's a fur coat that he just
Okay.
has resting on his shoulders, and he has
Okay.
on these pants that are like pant jeans. So it's the boot go all the way up to the waist, like
Okay.
it
And,
buckles.
and and so people been blacking out. They just like, oh my God, yeah, blah blah blah, taxi, why is he up here? He's blah 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 blah, gay stuff, blah 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 blah. So
Gay stuff, blah blah blah.
right. And I'm just sitting back, just like, and he's funny. I saw him on Instagram. He got interviewed. He was like, it's doing what it's doing. Anything's got people talking. That's what they were planning on doing, and so they were successful. People are running their mouths about this nonsense. So this is what it is. So we'll get into that, but let's get into our stories of the week. Where you want to go? Where you want to start?
Let's start with stupid stuff first.
Yeah.
The Floyd Mayweather Chalmers fight was this weekend. And all y'all UFC fighters, y'all got to stop challenging real boxers because it never, ever works out for y'all. It just looks stupid. It just looks ridiculous. I think this fight ended in maybe, I don't think it went 12 rounds. But the even more ridiculous
It was an
part of it is that,
exhibition fight anyway, right? So it wasn't real.
yes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the fight before that was sponsored by the Zeus Network. We all know the Zeus Network. The
I do
fight
not know the Zeus Network.
How to make you know the Zeus Network. Oh, Kurt Franklin's son was on that show called Bad
You
Boys.
did talk about. Okay.
It's on the Zeus Network. So
Okay.
the Zeus Network sponsored the undercard, and you had to actually subscribe to Zeus for $30 to see this fight of Natalie Nunn and Tommy Lee. You don't know who these two people are. It doesn't matter. The fight.
But you just said,
8 minutes
okay,
and
so
38
Tommy Lee
seconds.
must be a girl, right?
Yes.
Because, okay, you said Tommy Nat. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, these two women fought. It was ridiculous. It was ghetto at its finest, except for like one girl trained for the fight, the other girl was high and drunk and didn't. So it was just and what made it even funnier is that they had a formal boxing commentator, British boxing commentator, commenting on this next to people from Love and Hip Hop commenting with him as celebrity commentators. It was ridiculous. I just had to bring it up because it's trending on Twitter and it was so stupid. It was just I'm sorry to the Brits.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we're at a place now that, as much as it annoys me when people who have no business behind a mic are getting a mic, that's my generation. That's me. That's me as a trained broadcaster talking. Yes. People who love chaos, people who can bring chaos and bring eyeballs. They don't give a damn what kind of training these people got. Give them a mic and step back.
The British guy, for a minute, think he thought it was a skit. He didn't know what was going on. He's commenting like, well, she's punching here, but she's not hitting anything. Like, why is she not hitting anything? And Natalie Nunn looks well trained. It was bad, but I get how you are. Like, now it's just whoever has the most following, not who has the training, who understands the vibe and what the commentators are supposed to be doing.
And there's no shade on people who are
all shade.
Well, let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. There's no shade on people who have successfully grown a social media following that garners attention. It's not as easy as people think it is.
No.
It's not. It's not as easy. You have to be very committed. Shout out to Kev on Stage, who won an NAACP Image Award this past weekend. Yeah, he's the best in the business that I pay attention to. But just because someone's got a couple of million followers or whatever, because they can go out there and shake their behind or they can tell funny jokes, I don't hit just hilarious or somebody like that commentating a boxing match, but then you bring in people to the audience that wouldn't have been there for no other reason. So it's just, so Finish, I know you saying it's trash. It really is from a standpoint of quality of broadcast is trash, but then you bring in people to the game who was never there. Rihanna, we want to talk about the Rihanna. We can transition to that.
Yeah.
They said more people watched the Rihanna halftime than watch the game. And
Yes.
And because it's a bunch of women who had no intentions or no interest in watching the football game, they just looked on Twitter and said, so when is Rihanna performing at the Super Bowl? Let me turn for that 20 minutes. And then after that, I'm going back and doing whatever the world I was doing before, because I don't give a dog on who wins this football game.
I went to sleep. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I watched the beginning part of the game. I was like, okay. Rihanna came on. We all did the whole speculation she's pregnant. As soon as it was over, it's like, okay, everybody. And there were people in my house. And my mom always told me to stop doing this. When you have guests, you have to stay awake until they leave. I don't follow by that rule.
That's pretty rude.
Omar will show y'all out. The food is still in the fridge. Make sure y'all put foil over it. And I'm going to sleep. If I'm tired, I go to sleep. If the babies are down, I'm gone. Is that really rude?
It is. It is. You invited people over, and I can just imagine in that scenario if Trey done invited her girlfriends over here, and she go to bed, and I'm immediately gonna be in the mindset of now I gotta entertain them.
Wait, who said they were my friends who got invited over?
I'm just under the assumption that if friends were over, first of all, they're y'all's friends. You supposed to entertain them.
You better get these raggedy pajamas and this headscarf, because that's what happens after this.
Oh my God.
People who know me know that 8:30, that's my cutoff time now in life because of the babies and work and this and that. 8:30 is all I got. Even Miguel be surprised I'd be awake past 9 something.
Man, I'm telling you, we be pushing the envelope at 9 o'clock. It's like, all right, it's 9 o'clock. It's
But let's get back on track. To stick on the Rihanna situation, she had 103 complaints over her Super Bowl performance. How, Sway? How? I'm not joking. People were saying, oh, she was twerking. She grabbed her crotch. It was offensive and inappropriate. And my whole thing is everybody was completely covered. There was not a boob out or crotch out or booty shorts. I don't even think I saw anybody's neck. It was just straight up covered and people were dancing. I don't even think anybody was really grinding on each other, but people are saying it was twerking and likened Rihanna's set to pornography and laminated it to the decline of decency.
We are definitely in a place now, and it's getting, it is what it is. Folks are really victimizing and feel like it's all about them when it comes down to come on, man. We are past this, guys. We are past this situation where the FCC can do a whole lot about anything that's going on, as long as the music. As long as
it's not anything epic, the FCC is not going to do anything. It's like when I think it was the year Madonna performed, and I forgot what the girl's name is. I forgot what her song is, but she flipped a bird to the camera. That was a big deal. And that got a lot of complaints, and that she had to pay a fine and apologize and everything because she flipped the bird to the camera. But Rihanna was nowhere near flipping the bird status.
We're
talking about dancing, J-Lo and Shakira. That was a lot.
I'm saying you go all the way back to Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, and you got a pregnant woman who's up here dancing with a bunch. Like I can't recall anything about that performance that made me be like. Oh wow. They XYZ. It was Rihanna did something that was inappropriate. I don't remember that at all.
Well, the white people in the white were supposed to represent A$AP Rocky's sperm, and she was supposed to be the egg.
Was that real, or was that something people just started to make that up?
I don't know, but I guess if you think about it from that standpoint, sperm chasing an egg, I guess that can get a little inappropriate. I don't want to see sperm on my screen.
that is completely made. I don't believe it. Be honest with you, I just don't.
I'm just going by what the people said.
But them people had you out here doing all types of nonsense. But it's where we are today, man. I just look at this stuff and I'm just like, y'all weren't about in 2022. Y'all weren't about that in 2022, man. Please, them days have passed us by a long time ago. So here's the story you're talking about: twerking. should rank up there with F-bomb. The Rihanna Super Bowl FCC complaints are here. Really? Y'all
No,
think
no, no.
y'all really think that twerking is as bad as someone dropping the F-bomb on TV? That's the part to be confusing me, that okay, you're at the point now. We had a president who basically was calling people dicks and all this type of craziness. And I hear that now on regular television. I hear that in the news, and I'm just like, my God, we're at that place now. The N-word is just like we've been able to do that since George Jefferson and everything back in the day. But now, but now here in 2023, now twerking should be up there with F-bomb. Whatever. All right, so let's move on.
Let's do one more story before I think our guest is about to come in. Okay, let's go to Don Lemon, who said I can't even imagine he said this stupid statement. So Don Lemon is being benched over sexist remarks and scandal. So basically what he said, I got to go to the exact quote because I want to get his quote wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I got to scroll.
I'm seeing if I can find it too while you're pulling it up.
Wow, this article does not. Maybe they didn't want to actually post the actual comments of what he said.
So basically, what he said was that Nikki Haley is too old to run for president.
That is what he said. I just want to get the exact quote. But yes, Miguel is right. What he basically said, they were talking about what Nikki Haley said in her original interview, is that we need to start testing people who are running for president to make sure that they're primed to run for president. And some of these men are not in their prime because they are in their late 70s and late 80s, and they should have some kind of cognitive test. Me and Miguel, Republican Democrat, can both agree. If you are going to be running for president past 70 something, there needs to be some kind of cognitive test. So for some reason, Don Lemon attributed that to her and her age and went, well, she's not in her prime. She's not 30 or 40 years old. And even the women on the set were like, excuse you, what are you talking about? Like, these two things don't equate to each other. Nikki Haley, I feel, though she is a crap candidate, she gave up all of her political capital when she attached herself to Donald Trump. Before that, if she hadn't gotten attached to Donald Trump, I would be waving the Nikki Haley flag myself, saying she needs to run for president. But her being so MAGA trained ruined her. But as far as her being in her prime, I think she might be 51 years old, which is perfect to run for president. She's a very, very smart woman. She's been a governor of a state. She's also been the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador.
She was the U.S. and she was the UN. She served at the UN. Yes, she did.
So she's had a very great career that screams you should run for president. So him saying that is just not okay.
It wasn't smart. And Don Lemon, he's gotten away with a lot of things over the years. And I'll be full transparency. Don Lemon's got away with a lot of things because he's a black gay man. I don't think he's a great broadcaster. I think he checks a lot of boxes. And there's a lot of things that they're afraid of with Don Lemon to run him off of television because they don't want the community to chase him off. That was dumb of Don Lemon to say that about Nikki Haley.
It was dumb. And also, but he has had some very pivotal moments during key black moments when there was the shooting of, goodness, I'm getting everybody's name mixed up. When there was the incident with Philando Castile, he was very, very into getting that out there to the public audience and making sure everybody knew about that. Yeah. With the recent death of Tyree Nichols, I want to make sure I say his name right.
Okay.
Yes,
Tyree
very
Nichols,
instrumental of bringing that to CNN and was emotional about it and vocal about it and making sure that made it to prime time every single time. So he is definitely a strong black voice. But you can't be a strong black voice and also making massive mistakes towards other cultures and other sexes and everything. It can't just be you just pro black, and that's just how it is. And that's not how life works.
Yeah, no, and he's got a new show now. So he was in the evenings for a long time. And now he's in daytime television, which is a whole different audience.
He's in a throuple in daytime. He's in a throuple in the morning. It's three people. Right. And they don't do that in the morning for a lot of morning shows. Just have three people co-anchor.
Well, it's kind of like that to the Today Show type of feel, right? So you've got this, and it's going to be much more softball type of conversations, and so and there's going to be a lot of women, so you can't be in the middle of the morning talking bad about or making mistakes like that about women. It's
Nope.
just you know, you do that 11 o'clock at night, it may slip through the
Yeah.
cracks. It's not slipping through the cracks with a bunch of housewives at 9:30 in the morning. It ain't happening.
You're
And
right.
so
Nope.
so he messed around, and now here's where he is. And so now, according to this last article we pulled, he's apologized. He's like, hat in hand, can I have my job back? Dude,
But exactly. But I don't even it's about apologies. Kind of sound like, oh, you guys misunderstood me. We didn't misunderstand you. You said that woman wasn't in her prime. It's because she's not
and
in her
she's
30s
barely
anymore.
50 years old. That's, you know, when you got Dan Rather is somewhere in his 90s still with a camera in his face. So give me a break. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like, we got enough problems trying to not get Nikki Haley in office for you to get a bunch of middle of the road independents sympathizing with her, and when it's all said and done, she's still gonna rock in there with Donald Trump's policy. So yeah. Fortunately, he made his mistake early in the season. So by the time it gets serious by the end of the year, people will have forgotten about this. All right, you got what else we got before we bring in our guy?
I just want to send my condolences, and I'm so sorry about my memory, guys. My kids have given me baby brain. Not condolences, but
President
which
Carter.
president? Huh?
Carter.
Yes, President Carter has now entered into hospice.
Yeah.
But everybody's like, it's so sad. I'm like, is it? He's 93 years old.
He's 90 something, but he, you know, is interesting.
And he has done everything a human should do. Good.
Yeah,
Good. Like,
and what's
everything.
interesting is that I was going to wait to the end of the show, but this is a perfect time to get this. You know, I went to the services yesterday of Thomas Dorsch Jr., who is a
This
huge,
man is
huge.
98 years old.
Yeah. But he has still been active in the state of Georgia. You know, I'm here. He's still beloved in the state of Georgia. I know people who still he still goes to church. He was going to church. He still was very involved in the community. Thomas Dorsch, I bring him up because Thomas Dorsch was a Titan as well, who may have pictures out there with President Carter. And we also lost him last week, and his services were yesterday. And he was he was two-time president of the 100 Black Men, which of course I'm very involved with the 100 Black Men of Atlanta, which is an affiliate of the 100 Black Men of America. He was the only person to chair it twice of the 100 Black Men of America, and he's a huge figure. If you don't know who Thomas Dorsch Jr. is, you need to look him up if you're watching the show. And then, as you mentioned, President Carter going into hospice. Anytime you hear the words hospice, you know that you know, we're at a point now where it's time to say your goodbyes and to memorialize them. So, you know, President Carter was somebody, you know, you look at the history of it, he was kind of railroaded. He did his 4 years, one-term president. And he was kind of like that liberal country guy, you know, good old peanut farmer. And he was dangerous to conservatives. They had to run him out of there so fast because he was making some changes, and they ran him out of there after one term.
Just like Gerald Ford. Same thing happened to Gerald Ford. They didn't like that he wasn't doing things exactly how they were supposed to. It was too dangerous. And they're like, you got to go, bro. Like, I'm sorry.
You know, you start too much middle of the road stuff. They're like, oh, we don't like that middle of the road stuff. You got to make a decision. All right, so that's it. We're not gonna do How What this week. We'll do that next week. But we got a lot to talk about. As we mentioned, we wanted to have this conversation today: masculinity, Black men, and fashion. And so, you know, this situation with Jonathan Majors. And if you haven't seen it, let me see if I can pull it up. If you haven't seen what we're talking about, Jonathan Majors, who it's his season right now. He just had his. It's funny how movie stars go. They're quiet for a while. Whenever they got a movie coming out, then all of a sudden you see them everywhere. So he dropped a movie. I forget the movie he dropped about the Navy pilot. That was the fourth quarter of last year. That was pretty good. And then he had the movie that just came out. He's got the Ant-Man movie, which, I'm not.
A lot of people don't like it. But then he also starred in Lovecraft Country, which
Lovecraft
was a
Country,
series.
absolutely. That was an amazing show.
I feel like that is what put him as a household name to me. Lovecraft Country did it. Yeah,
he did that. He did a great job at Lovecraft Country. And so and then of course coming up next month will be Creed 3. He'll play the antagonist versus Michael B. Jordan. And so he's in Creed shape, brother man, worked out, you know what I mean? He's And so he put this as you say, it's a coat, and he's on the cover of the magazine, and then all of a sudden
cats started losing their mind.
Yeah.
Let's bring our guest in because I'm ready to ask questions. Put me in the middle, you guys on the outside, because I'm ready to do this. Like, let's get this party started.
Okay, hold on. Let me let you produce the show today.
I will. I'm ready, and I'm so mad that our fashion queen.
Oh, that would have been nice to have
Miguel
her.
Lloyd wasn't able to come on the show today because she would have been a great voice to have on here. She is a fashionista. That's all she's worked in for a long time, but I think I can make it happen with these superstars. I'm sorry. I had a moment. Hi, Anthony. How are you? Oh, we don't have audio.
Oh, let me get his audio up. There we go. Go ahead, brother. I got you. It's me.
Can you hear me now? I'm good.
We got you. We got you, Anthony. Welcome to Life Full Circle Radio. Welcome to the show. Another FAMU rattler, man. I need to get my North State list up. So every time it's time, I gotta find.
We like y'all. Y'all cool. Y'all okay.
Okay, we appreciate that. We appreciate it.
You're better than me. I'm always like, boo.
No, Norfolk up there. You know, now Norfolk, how it's when you get to like Alabama State and
Anthony, wherever you are, your Wi-Fi is really iffy. Where's your Wi-Fi? Where are you at? Your Wi-Fi is a little iffy.
I am literally in the office next to it. Maybe I need to hold on.
That's all right. You are okay right now.
Devices. Can you give me a second? Let me switch devices.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Let's do that. So, as he gets that situation situated, so.
But before we talk about the covers, I talked to G-Pod Ganey and my dad, and he was laughing at me because I said, all these guys are talking about the fashion that's happening now, and let's say the last 10 years has been a little bit more effeminate. But let's look at history of fashion back in the day. In the 80s, yeah, you better laugh now. In the late 80s and early 90s, you guys were wearing booty shorts.
No. Ain't no early 90s. No. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. But ain't no early 90s. Nobody dressing like our clothes were huge in the early 90s.
Not all of them in the early 90s were huge. Not all of them. In the mid to late 90s, I Googled this. That's when clothes got bigger. There you go. You look perfect and you're shiny. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We're moving
good.
Along. We're not lagging.
You good. You good.
We're not lagging at all. Okay. But what we were talking about, Anthony, is the fact that they're saying in the past 10 years that fashion has changed and it's gotten more feminine. But let's look at the history a little bit. I'll even go back past the 80s and the 70s. Our fathers wore button-up shirts, wasn't no buttons buttoned, and all the chest just out, and the bell bottoms are tight,
and they didn't shave their chest.
The bell bottoms are tight. They up to the belly button.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's say in the world of adult, when you're trying to kind of woo somebody, they talk about or I can see it, like y'all, like there what was hidden in those bell bottoms, like how like it was flat front with your shirt tucked in. Like you want to talk about we talk. You got Prince, and then you got what was his name? Morris in the time.
Morris Day.
Time.
Right.
I mean, you had a whole perm and was out here pimping. Like, come on, man.
Morris Day still to this day. If he comes out there, Jerome's still gonna bring the mirror out. They still gonna perform together. Yes.
He had a whole perm and was flicking it and flipping it, and everybody thought that was fine. Oh,
and tell him he's not beautiful. And tell him he's not beautiful.
Well, here's the thing about Morris Day. Morris Day was he was much more of a pimp than he was. That was his style. That was that pimp style. It's still this pimp style to this day.
So then we transition to the 80s. Mm-hmm. We have this short little basketball shorts. I got pictures of my father who doesn't. I still have these pictures of him going to Disney World with the little tiny shorts and his shirt tucked in the tiny shorts and the high socks. Then let's move into the 90s. The pants, tight shirts with the turtlenecks, fanny packs, semi-tight jeans, or like it was. Miguel, let's not do that.
No, we are doing this because you're talking about when I was out there. In the 90s, literally in the 90s, I was wearing two pair of pants because my pants were so big, and I would have sweats on and on underneath my jeans. They were huge in the 90s. That is not late 90s. No, I went to college in 1990, 1991, and I had my Super Tims and my jeans were 2 sizes too big.
What you had? Some Carl Kanai?
They was Carl Kanai. I did. I didn't have no cross colors. I had Carl Kanai. I had my huge Carl Kanai jeans. I had my Super Tims that was up to my knees. I was all the way New York thugged out from VA. Yes. They were not tight in the 90s.
Before FUBU.
Before FUBU.
Yeah, and then FUBU brought in the whole new era. But again, with the last 10 years, and Anthony, really, you can answer the question first. Do you think that it's become the feminizing the Black man, or are we just keeping with the trends of fashion? Because throughout all these decades, Black people have been on top of these fashion trends. So do you think that's where we are, or it's really just...
It's not feminizing, it's where the mindset of what masculinity is.
Okay.
How tight someone's pants is says nothing about the masculinity. If someone decides to show the chesticles, show the taco meat, like, again, I mean, Prince was walking around here, cheeks out.
Yeah, he was.
Cheeks out.
Prince,
just about any Black man probably older than 40 who has a significant other knows that he could lose his woman to Prince.
Here's the funny thing about Prince and Michael Jackson. Nobody outside of fanatics dressed like Prince or Michael Jackson, but we love their music. It was never a thing where I had to go out here and get me a blouse like Prince. It was like Adore to this day is my favorite slow jam of all times. International Lover, banging. But I was never like, now let me go out here and get me some high heel boots and have a blouse that I'm tying up in the front. No, that was never going to happen. Not me and my people. It's just not how we got down, but today it's kind of like when I watch the basketball players walk up to the and even the Super Bowl, I couldn't find it. There was a Fletcher Cox.
Bring it up. I know what you're talking about.
Fletcher Cox is a huge defensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles. Main man came out there with a blouse with a little clip. I mean, not a blouse. He had a blazer that clipped on the side with a blouse that drooped. And I'm just imagining his boys in the locker room being like they want to say something about it, but Fletch is 320 pounds. He's a mean defensive lineman. And you sitting there like, bruh.
My mom has that suit.
I didn't see it, but I'm
it looked like a church suit.
And it just doesn't sound good.
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up while you guys engage. Let me see if I can pull it up. But
I just hear bad choices.
I think that's part of it too. It just seems like there's a lot of bad fashion choices. Like cats are really bored right now. You got this situation where people run around with the animated red boots. And then now I saw somebody the other day, I saw something on social about shoes that look like the Hulk feet. And, I think, Kanye with what he did 5 years ago with those Yeezys. I'm like, these are the ugliest things in the world. And people are paying how much for these?
Ugliest.
Oh my God.
Absolute ugliest.
Yes.
Oh.
He got the necklace looking like a brooch and everything. I mean, he got the tight. I was like, come on, bro. Who styled you?
I personally, I just see bad choices. I see friends who don't know how to tell you, hey, no.
You know what? My wife, she says that all the time, that you ain't got no friends. If you mess around and let them.
That's literally what I say. When I see somebody walking around, especially if I see them in a group and they look a mess, those aren't your friends.
You need to get new friends. Oh my God.
Can we bring up the Jonathan Majors cover really quick?
Yeah. Let me pull that up. I just had it.
Anthony, have you seen it? You've seen it, right? At this point, have you seen the cover?
I've seen it. And to me, I don't understand what people act like this if Andre 3000 was doing it.
And
that's actually a very good. That is actually a very good point.
That's a good point because
Andre was out here with a whole rap.
Yeah.
When you think about it, and even if it wasn't Andre 3000, even Cam Newton, if Cam Newton wore this out in a game, because we know he's always been pushing the fashion choices.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why Cam got ran out the league. They started feeling like, okay, bro, we don't know what you're doing over here, man. And you throwing the ball in the dirt, but here's the thing: you make a very valid point about Andre 3000 because I remember, and everybody always blames that on Erykah Badu. They just like Erykah Badu is just dangerous. Like when Erykah Badu get her hands,
she touched, they went left. Every Common, Andre, what was I can't remember. She got a baby by
Dr. Dre, not Dr. Dre, the DLC. She got a baby by Andre 3000, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no kids by Common, but she was with Common for a while.
And then when Common, so I'm a huge Common fan. He's, I'm 30 years I've been rocking with Common. And it was the Electric Circus album, which was probably 25 years ago. And he came out and had the little knit caps on his head and all this stuff. We was
And
like,
the knit, he had on the knit wife
And the
beater.
retro had the retro turtleneck
you had
with
the
the printed
thick
pants.
shoes, the thick bottom shoes and all this. We was like, bruh. And he was like, oh,
Listen,
she dating
Erica
Erykah
Dangerous.
Badu. And it's funny, I wish I'd have been ready for this, because Erykah Badu was on what's her name? Tamron Hall.
Yeah,
And I saw a clip of her talking to Tamron Hall, and she was just telling myself, what is this power you have over men? She's like, I have it over women too. And it just stopped. I was just like, yo.
but you can believe it when it comes to Erykah Badu. You can.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like Lauryn Hill also had that power, but it overpowered her, and then she went crazy. Because I feel like she also has that same kind of Erykah Badu vibe of.
Yeah. No, you're right. Erykah Badu has definitely mastered it much more than Lauryn Hill. Erykah just has, and it's so funny. For a while when I was really deep in the church, it was like church people would be like, you can't listen to Erykah Badu. I was like, why?
The church people won't let you listen to nobody. Beyonce now is their new thing. Beyonce now is, you're not Christian if you're part of the Beehive.
That explains my issue, because I was a choir boy, and I remember Baduism, the first album when it came out.
Yeah.
My mom was like, you're weird. I was in 6th grade, and I was crazy over that album.
That
I was
amazing.
12 years old, and I popped that tape. I popped it.
Yeah. Badu still is heavy in rotation with me. Orange Moon and just because
her live album is my favorite.
There's timelessness in Badu. There's timelessness in but we getting off track. So let me bring it back, and we can come back to that. I think there is a and you're supposed to be in the middle. I don't know what happened over here. But I think there was, over the years, people are so bored and they're looking for attention. Right. And I heard Jonathan Majors, I saw him in the interview. He basically said, hey, good attention, because here's what's going to happen. More people are Google searching him. More people are going to go see this terrible Ant-Man movie. More people are going to go see Creed. And he sold the movie. And people forget that actors are salesmen. That's what their jobs are. That's why they start doing them tours. That's why that Kevin Hart, every time he's got a project coming out, he's selling everything from gambling to liquor to you name it, because now he got a project to sell.
A quick
Everything
question
is touching heart.
From what you just said, Miguel, why is there a good juxtaposition for this? He's in Creed, where he's playing a violent, I guess is a child of the violent offender, who's now becoming a very violent boxer.
Yep.
Why can't it be the juxtaposition of violent boxer to I'm on this fashion magazine? It doesn't like why are people bringing up the fact that he is playing a very masculine, aggressive character?
How can you tell a grown man who agrees to put something on that it's emasculating him? He's a grown man. He can decide for himself what's emasculating him or not.
People are saying he was forced to because he's not. I'll tell you. People are saying he was forced to because he's not a leading man in Hollywood, so he can't make choices about what he puts on. People are literally telling him to be on covers. You have to wear A, B, and C. I don't believe that, especially seeing how he was in a black magazine. I don't think that's how that works.
Well, here's the thing about here's the thing about that. Yeah, he probably was strongly encouraged. It's a woman's magazine, Ebony, which means you're trying to appeal to all types of women. There's a joke. Dave Chappelle is one of the only famous comedians who has never dressed in drag in a movie. And he's very famously has come out and said, they tried to get me to put on a dress. I ain't doing it. And people said, what? Okay. Martin Lawrence was the big fat character.
Don't just only say the white. Only just say the black.
It ain't just black. It ain't just black. You're right. Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy,
Robin
Williams, Jamie Foxx, Dustin Hoffman. It's
Patrick
always
Swayze?
Well, he ain't funny anyway, but rest his soul. So Patrick Swayze.
Who was that movie though?
Thank you.
Oh, I can't forget about Wesley Snipes putting on the dress, and he's a bad enough looking black man, let alone a woman.
Noxeema Jackson was something to sight. That was a sight.
But even with Noxeema Jackson, he then went on to star in multiple straight action, kick your butt, love interest movies.
Well, here's the thing, and that was 20 years ago. In today's society, you can live so many different lives, and different audiences will never even know. Right. So some of the same people who are going to look at this Vogue or this ebony cover are going to go see Creed. They ain't going to know nothing about this cover that's got all this controversy.
Yeah.
All that's doing is bringing another audience to this conversation that says they're going to go see Creed. They don't want to see no boxing movie. They just want to see Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors on the screen sweaty with their shirts off. Whatever sells tickets.
That's what I want to see. I'm sorry. So, you're right.
I mean, when you set it up like that, here's my money.
Oh my God.
Coming out. I'm gonna go watch that. So okay, let's switch over to the other magazine cover, and that is Rihanna on the cover of British Vogue. Do you have that cover, producer person?
I do have that cover, producer person, host, and all that. Y'all keep talking to it so I can find it. Go ahead.
Okay, so there's a cover of Rihanna on the cover of British Vogue. She is on the cover. She's the focus of the interview, of course, but she's being led. She's on the cover, and she's holding the hand of A$AP Rocky, who's behind her. She's holding his hand, and he's carrying the baby, and he's kissing on the baby. A lot of people are saying that, that is a demasculating cover for A$AP Rocky, and it shows that Rihanna is leading the man and showing a bad example for men. My whole thing is they didn't ask to interview A$AP Rocky for British Vogue. They asked to interview her. So she's going to be the focal point in front of this article. Here's the picture right here, if you guys can see the screen. They're saying that she's doing a strong, dominant, masculine woman pose. She's the leader. He's submissive, nurturing, feminine man. I don't know what this cock of shame thing is with the X over his penis. Fine. He's a follower, soft face, hard face for her, shoulders, this whole thing. I have never seen something so stupid in my entire life. Please tell me what you guys think.
What human is composed of all testosterone or all estrogen, all masculine, all feminine? We're all created of both. We both have to have both influence in our lives to have a healthy type of living. Anybody you know who is all masculine, all testosterone is a lot.
Toxic.
Anybody you know who's extremely feminine and it always just crying and just always there's a balance to both. If you push those extremes, why is it so shocking? We say we want strong black women, so you show Rihanna as a strong black woman, but he's standing back there like a chump.
What
you want?
Truth in that.
You want her to shut up and stand in the background and let him run it? Or you want her to have possibly the highest selling makeup line right now, led by a black woman?
Right.
Like everybody is breaking their neck for Fenty, whether it be makeup, whether it be lingerie.
Right.
Like she got boxes out here for big boys.
I just look at this stuff and looking at this picture right now. I just want you guys to as I'm looking at this thing. I'm a very, as you don't know, Ant, or you may know, I'm real proud of being a father, right? And there's been plenty of times if you wanted to catch me holding on and loving on my kids, it's real easy to find me like that. Absolutely, and so as I'm looking at this thing, I'm saying to myself, bruh, this is something I can look at this thing and say, this looks to me like it is a situation where, okay, let's look at it. This could be my wife. I'm holding one of my babies and we're walking on the beach and I'm focused on my child. And the picture is about the woman. She could be guiding him because, okay, he's so focused on the baby. She don't want the boy to slip over because the water's crashing up. Don't fall with my baby. It's so many different ways. But okay, she's a leader, strong, dominant, masculine woman. What else do we have here? Hard face, soft face.
Question to you. Are you married?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Not even speaking in general, but just at some point, would you not want your wife to at some point just be able, if it be not for 5 minutes, to be able to take the lead? Or would you want every second, every day, every living moment of your marriage that you're the one that's in control and that's leading?
Well, no, anybody who that's the situation I'm in. I have a very strong black woman as a wife, professional, but she also understands, we're still raising, we're all church people here. We're still raising the church and we all look at it and say, when it's all said and done, it is my responsibility to lead. But sometimes that leading is being able to take a moment and say, this is a time I need to let her do her thing, because when it's all said and done, if something goes sideways, it's still my fault. And that's how I move. But
you're the cover.
Yeah, I'm the covering of the family. That's the way that it is. But that doesn't mean that my wife needs to not be who she is and be as strong as she's going to be and live in her truth. I mean, I support her living in her truth all day, every day. Kia, you want to jump in? Go ahead.
Yeah, so this has brought up another conversation. Me and my husband talking about this, that people are saying that, even if this cover didn't exist, he's also not a leader because she makes so much more money than him. She is a billionaire. She's a billionaire. But I keep thinking ASAP Rocky is not some broke boy. He's not some garbage man she found on the street. He's a $1 million artist. He is. He's a $1 million artist. And, my husband's completely fine with me saying this. I make more money in the relationship, but he's not some broke bum down the street. He's making good money. He honestly, when I look at the numbers, actually, technically, he makes more money because he covers our health insurance. I'm an independent contractor. And Miguel knows what that like. The money looks great up front. We get it faster. But when them taxes roll around.
Right.
Well, Uncle Sam says hello.
But here's the thing. It's not even that deep. And because here's where I'm going with this. Women are much bigger consumers than men.
Yes.
She can come out with a new, I don't know nothing. I know the name of her business is Fenty. I know she ain't dropped no album in 5 years because she ain't got to, because it's so much. Because it's so much money she's making between lingerie, makeup, and all that. Ain't much of nothing we as men that can come out in this day and age and rock with it like that as easy as an artist like a Beyonce or Rihanna, right? So why am I bringing that up? The reason why I bring that up is that men, if you ain't ready to make understand now that we're in a technology age and now it's out of the physical labor era of our world, it's been now for about 40 years, it's going to be a lot of situations you can be dealing with women going to make more money than you. And if you can't live with that, if you can't deal with that and work with that, you're going to have a problem, because this is not going that direction.
I want to point out that also doesn't make a man less of a man because he happens to make less. She made $1 billion because I don't even think she realized how popular Fenty was going to be. A lot of artists, famous people. Gaga has a makeup line out right now that is failing.
Okay.
Horrendously failing.
Right.
No, I don't think she really thought when she put this makeup line, it was going to end up making her a billionaire, but it did. The lingerie line. Her lingerie line is the reason why Victoria's Secret is about to go out of business practically. Because her lingerie line is fully everybody, no matter what size you are, extra small to 3XL, she got something for everybody. Her fashion show is for everybody.
For the 48 boys, for the big boys. Barely.
She's making boxers for fat boys and skinny boys. She's making lingerie for everybody. She's inclusive.
And that's how you make more money. They're inclusive. You're inclusive, and all of a sudden you got more people that can buy your product. Right.
But how can you say A$AP Rocky is not a man because of something she did? It's weird to me when people try to make these two things mesh.
It's not weird when you and I want to come to you, brother. It's not weird when you look at how small-minded many people are. Like that's just really what it boiled down to. You can start a business with the level of popularity that Rihanna or Beyonce or any of these huge artists that are out here. I'm surprised that Lady Gaga is not doing well. Now, the only reason I say is that, of course, she may not appeal to women of color, which gives you a broader spectrum of people you can sell to. But that's a different conversation. But ultimately, when it's all said and done, it's not the way it used to be. You don't have to have a warehouse sitting over here with a whole bunch of content over here that you're just waiting to sell. You put a music video out, Instagram post, go buy it. All of a sudden, you get 100,000 orders, and that stuff is manufactured as it's needed, right? And then so that's the business side of it. So to your point, A$AP Rocky is not a bum. I'm not a huge A$AP Rocky fan, but I'm not in his generation. I'm sure he sold enough records.
I like him.
And I'm sure he there's a reason why he got to her, because Lord knows that just the average dude with some locks on the block, he's not gonna get to Rihanna. Evidently, he got something. He got to Rihanna because he had enough popularity and enough success.
She ended up pregnant. Everybody was like, huh?
And also another thing is that they've been together for a while secretly. I think even before Fenty came out, they were together. They've been together for a very long time. It didn't just become public because she got pregnant, and it would look nuts if she was just out here pregnant with nobody.
Can we just give a shout out? Can we give a shout out to the Rock Nation, because it seemed like everybody that buys into that formula, they be killing it, man. Jay, Beyonce, Rihanna, LeBron
is over
J.
there.
Cole.
Jay is over there silently showing us. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to sit out here and run a bunch of hot air. I'm just going to do it. And just
I will buy into the Rock Nation phenomenon if Meg Thee Stallion survives her recent controversy. If she can survive it, come out with a hit album and a tour, then I'll be like, "There's
what's her
nothing
recent controversy?
Is it still her? It's not her and the Tory, is it?
It's her and Tory.
Oh,
she hasn't. But she hasn't come back from that though. She hasn't come back from that. She has not gone on tour. She has not performed. She has not had new songs out. She has not had a new album out. Once that happens, then I'll be like, there's nothing Rock Nation can't do. There's nothing Rock Nation can't bring somebody from. She has not done anything since then, you guys. Tell me one thing she's done since then.
Well, I don't know. I'm not paying that close attention. So maybe you can answer that.
But this is what I will say. I think should be able to come back, because Megan actually has talent and personality. One thing that I love about Megan is whenever she does her NPR, when she did her Tiny Desk, I love that she was herself. She didn't come, hi, I'm Megan. No, she came out there just as hood in Texas and ratchets, like, we can have a good time.
Right.
And I feel like it's a part of our generation, millennials. What's the word
authentic.
I'm looking
for? You're authentic. Yeah.
Authentic.
Yeah.
I want authentic. I want the person who might be ratchet and doesn't know good English than the person that's going to sit here and give me the King's English and be all pulled up and professional. But then as soon as the camera come off, like, honestly, I think Whitney's persona between Whitney and Nippy, if Whitney had came out now, she wouldn't last.
Yeah, it's hard now to
because she had that I'm the glamour queen.
Yeah.
But then it's years later when being Bobby Brown come out and we find out Whitney's a whole Jersey guy.
Yeah. And see, I know some people from Jersey who grew up with her. So I knew years ago who she really was based on conversations. But to your point, it's hard to even disguise or keep under wraps who you are, because there's so many cameras and there's so much activity that goes out, and social media is so important to build up these personas, right? So now I'm a big fan of, I'm not a big fan of Cardi B's music, but her as a personality, I love her energy.
Because she is her 100%.
Yeah, she's one, when it's so funny, I watched the transition from Nicki Minaj being the it girl to watching how Cardi B kind of took her spot. And I was just like, and now it ushered in a whole bunch of, have y'all seen the video of what's her name, Glorilla? And she's talking about how huge Beyonce is. Oh my God, that girl.
I hate Glorilla. I'm sorry. To all of our people out who watch the show, I hate Glorilla. I don't like it. That whole vibe she's giving off, I don't like it. The wheezing. I smoke too many Newports without the filter on it. I can't do it. I can't do her laying back being like, oh yeah, I'm hiring somebody because I just need like have an intern. It's only gonna be so. I can't get into it.
I'm turning to the old dude in the club. I get it right now, but here's the thing, and I want to give you some closing remarks before we close out. So looking at this at this situation with Jonathan Majors and being a member of the LGBTQ community, tell us give us y'all's perspective, or give us your perspective. I ain't gonna tell you speaking for you ain't speaking for everybody. You ain't speaking for everybody.
But I know, just for me, and genuine, the best way for me, my mindset. My brother, he has the best description of me. My brother's homosexual, but he ain't gay because he ain't with all that gay mess.
That's what I told you about Anthony. I just said this about you 5 minutes before the show started.
That's what my brother, and that's how my brother describes me. He said he got in an argument with somebody, and they were like, "Oh, you're homophobic." He was like, "No, I'm not homophobic because my brother's homosexual." He was like, "I have no problem with homosexuals, but it's these goddamn gays." And it's not even, the mindset of saying there's anything negative about gay, but there's such a scope in for people to try to think that anything outside of what is basic masculinity immediately puts you in a different category isn't when you've had so many other people who've done it. We're not seeing anything new. Again, Andre
Mm,
3000. Andre had us out here in bell bottoms with a whole perm talk about hey
yeah.
y'all. Like we was on the
He
praise team
did.
talking about hey y'all
He
like we had
did.
raps. Like again,
Yeah.
there's nobody who was born before 1980 who doesn't know that if Prince was still alive, if he walked by and winked at your chick, there's a good chance that you just have to be like deuces. Like, and that's whether he had his hair up in a wrap with the doobie on it, or if he was
Right.
walking around in some assless
With it
chaps. Like
out.
Right.
she's
Right.
gonna bounce.
Right.
So it's to think that there's only one form of masculinity and then to try and put it, because that's the thing that bothers me when certain people do these things and then it's like, oh, that's emasculating. How are you going to tell someone who's an adult who's able to decide for themselves that that's emasculating?
I agree.
I
I agree.
I wanted to bring him up earlier and I can't even think of his name. Is it Keith? He was in the note with not the note, he was in the photograph with Issa Rae.
Yes.
Oh
He
yeah.
was
What is his
also
Lakeith
in
name?
Stanfield.
Messiah.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
love Lakeith. If you look at
Okay.
some of his photo
Stanfield.
shoots,
Yeah.
he pushes the limits. He has
He
on
does.
heels. He
He
has
does.
on bell bottoms. He's going retro. And I love it because you can see it in how he presents himself. He's still I'm a grown man. I can come out here in these bell bottoms with these 6-inch heels, snatch your girl, and I dare you to try me. Like masculinity isn't just based on what you put on. It's a whole aura, and
Yeah.
to say that just because somebody does something that you wouldn't do or that you wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable with doesn't mean that it's any less masculine.
And we appreciate you, kid. You got anything before we let my brother go?
I have nothing. This is why I wanted Anthony to come on the show, because Anthony is all the personality, and he brought up a lot of points that I didn't even think of. That's how smart Anthony is. So I hope Anthony can come back on in the future, because you are amazing. I love you.
I would love to, and I know
Tell
which
your mama
device
I
to
say
use next
hey.
time. I will. She out there in the living room. I'm finna get on it while she ain't watching.
Well, brother, you got an open seat, man. I look forward to having you on next time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My man.
No problem.
So,
All right.
yeah, great. When it's all said and done, I put a
I
bow on this.
always bring good
Of
guests. I just
course, of
always
course. That's why you're the
give my
super
props.
producer. That's why you're the super producer. And let me put a bow on this thing on where I'm coming from, the kind of Jonathan Majors. I looked at that brother and I look at that cover, and I'm just like, whatever. It's not even a big deal. It's nothing looked feminine about that to me. And I'm old school, and I know I still got growth and all that, but nothing. And I've got I'm just like, oh, I ain't doing that. I looked at that and I'm just like, I would never wear it, but I ain't got a Creed body either. My best days of the Creed body was 30 years ago. So, I'm not gonna run around here with no shirt on and like, yeah, whatever, right? So I looked at that and I'm just like, man, they selling a movie. Ain't nothing about, and whatever. Here's the thing, whatever
And they
lifestyle
keep
that brother's
ignoring the
living.
first cover. The first cover of him in the boxer shorts,
Mhm.
no shirt on,
Yeah.
holding roses. That wasn't feminine. That was for us. That was for women. That wasn't for men.
And it's
he
funny
wasn't
thing that you say
for it.
that. That's funny that you say that, because when I started doing my research, there were 5 covers for
Yes,
that.
5.
It was the digital version of the magazine. There were 5 covers. And if I'm a photographer, and of course, that's, we obviously I'm in the business of telling stories and narratives with what I do. I get it. There were 5 different covers telling 5 different stories, targeting
Yes.
5 different audiences. And so
Yes.
whatever it drives and brings people to Ebony in that moment, they did their job. And the one that really drove the most engagement was the one that got people out here clutching their pearls and clutching their nuts, because they sitting back like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Or the women, the old school, they just like, I can't believe, oh my God, I can't believe. Man, let that man live. And whatever he's doing is his life. Whatever Jonathan Majors doing in his private life, here's what we know. He's a superstar. And
He
when this
is. And
Creed
the
movie comes
the
out,
one thing I want to
yeah,
say is to the ASAP Rockies of the world,
yeah,
because I feel like my husband's kind of an ASAP Rocky, you're kind of an ASAP Rocky, not a little bit, and that's nothing bad about that.
right.
I'm successful and happy because of Omar Shakur. 100,000%. If people look at me now compared to back then, they're like, "Oh, you've changed so much." Yes, because that man is who changed me and
Yeah.
made me better and strive to do more. Just like with
Right.
Tracy, I feel like y'all have a great. I always joke about them being rich, and it's just a joke.
We're
But as far as them having a good nuclear life,
yeah.
Tracy couldn't do it by herself. Miguel couldn't do it by herself.
Nope.
Himself. Both of those girls wouldn't be AAU athletes with all this stuff going on and recitals and everybody driving over creation if it wasn't for Miguel and Tracy. You need, if you want to have a good marriage, you need these two people. If you're gonna have the wife who or husband who's I do everything and my spouse doesn't get to take any, that doesn't work. It doesn't work when one person is.
It doesn't work. And coming from a situation where you know, my oldest daughter, my beautiful daughter Saran, I was never married to her mother, and we had some challenges, some real challenges raising her, right? And the difference between having that baby daddy, baby mama thing, which I always clown and said, I ain't nobody's baby mama, none of that type of nonsense, baby daddy, whatever. Never called her my baby mama. She was Saran's mother. You know, I wasn't giving her a negative stereotype. But when it's all said and done, having that nuclear situation where there's sacrifices, and there's times where, you know, like, you know, I'm just like the stuff that I want to do professionally. I look up, I'm like, oh, Trey got to be out of town. Okay, that nixes that. And so because I got to be here for these kids. And so, you know, it really is what it is. We got somebody jumping in the comments. I don't know. We'll see, take a look at see anything worth coming in here, but on YouTube. But yeah, man, I just look at that thing.
Oh, I missed all these comments.
Yeah, they literally just came in just in the last few minutes. And so no wonder why black men see white women as being socialized. What is this? Look at them and see if it's worth even bringing anything in. So is it that bad? Oh, let's see. Let me see. Oh, he's okay. Is more high value than Europe and America. Okay. All right. So looks like this is
No, I'm good. We're not reading none of this. Thank you, Megan Afro Dance Doll, but we're not reading none of your stuff. I appreciate it, but wherever you're going, we're not there.
We're not going. Like, so y'all can jump in. Y'all can jump in the YouTube comments. Y'all see if y'all want to engage a Negus Afro Dane Doll. He's got some comments.
He doesn't exist. So
okay.
No.
But great show today. We got to have a marriage conversation, a real one, break that thing down. And you know, whenever I can get my wife to slow down, that's a whole different kind. What?
I can bring on plenty of married couples between me and Omar, my brother and his wife who just got married. I think that year's coming up in May for them. I got plenty of people who are married and everybody's in a different situation.
Here's the thing of all the lies that people are telling you. I know plenty of black people who have successful marriages. So all this garbage about black people and 75% of black women are divorced. Well, okay. Well, I know all the people in 25%. So I got a whole pool of folks I can pull over there. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, listening on a Sunday night. Like I said, just pay attention. And we'll let you know when we're going to be on the air because AAU season's popping and I'm going to be busy as hell. So it is what it is. All right. Love y'all. Peace.
Love y'all. Bye.